Hi, and welcome to episode 53 of Two Crafty Stitches. Today is January 1st, 2018.
Happy New Year!
Yay! I'm Sandy, also known as Knits and Bits.
And I'm Kelly, also known as Pearly Girl 75.
So, to start things off, I don't have anything new.
I have one new item that I showed you. Actually,
yeah.
I have two I'm going to talk about because I have my other thing that you gave me.
Oh,
anyway.
yeah.
So, because I didn't give you any knitting related gifts this year for Christmas.
That's okay. I like the ones that I got.
So, my parents gave me some yarn, and it is yarn, and I'm going to look in the thing here because it is the size of my face.
It's bigger than your face.
Yes.
It almost covers up your explosive hair.
I know. So anyway,
Yeah.
They gave me a Caron Big Cakes right here in the Blueberry Tort colorway. 603 yards. I have no idea what I'm going to do with this. My mom told me when I opened it and everything, she's like, well, there's a really pretty scarf on the label that you could make. And I look at it and I'm like, that's a blanket that takes 3 balls of this stuff.
Yeah, that's a blanket.
So I probably will not be making that. It's the Catch Some Waves Knit Afghan picture on here. But anyway, maybe I'll make a scarf. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'm still
thinking.
Make
like a wrap in that and give it to her.
I could, but no, I won't. No. So anyway, and then from Sandy, I got an amazing project bag with Wonder Woman all over it that I used on my. It's really funny. I used it. I've used it the past couple of days when I was knitting because I had the hat project I was working on in there, but I took the project with me. I just threw like the balls of yarn in there and the pattern and the needles and stuff. And I didn't use it the whole time I was there at my parents' house because I was working on my crochet project. But anyway, so I had it and it was like kind of puffy because it had 2 skeins of woolies in it.
Uh-huh.
And my mom's like, that's a very interesting pillow you brought because it was like laying on her couch kind of like this. But it was like puffy because it had, yarn in it.
Yeah.
I was like, you brought your own. I'm like, no, it's a project bag from Sandy with Wonder Woman on it. And it's got a project in it. Well, a soon to be project. But anyway.
That's funny.
So those are my new items.
With your puffy pillow.
Yes. So I used it, I took it with me on my trip and then I used it the past couple of days around the house to carry my project from room to room.
Well, I'm really glad that it's functional for you.
So I like it.
Perfect.
Yes, it was just the right size.
When I saw it, I'm like, she loves Wonder Woman. And I like that size for things.
I know, it is a really nice size. I don't have any that I have bigger and I have smaller. I don't think I have that size.
Yeah, I have something similar.
Well, I mean, I have like a little taller and not as wide. So it's it's a nice size. But anyway.
One can never have too many bags.
I know.
That's my philosophy.
Unless you're my husband, who's like, why do you have so many bags?
He's a boy.
So.
He doesn't get it.
Anyway. But I have finished objects.
I have a finished object, too.
So who should we do first?
I guess I will pull mine out.
Okay.
So, I'm not completely prepared because I didn't bring the, print of the pattern for this. Because it is a vintage pattern.
Yes.
It is a Christmas stocking. And the pattern, I guess, is from the 50s and has been discontinued.
Mm-hmm.
My coworker ended up giving it to me because, it was something in their whole family. A grandmother used to knit it. And one of them lost theirs and another one doesn't have any. So I'm like, sure, let me try.
Mm-hmm.
Now, remember, this is a kit, so it came with, like, all the yarn and everything.
Yeah.
I can get the whole kit for one stocking for, like, $50 on Etsy.
Yeah. So, and Sandy is sending me messages going, look this up on Ravelry and tell me what yarns they used and all this. So I'm, like, typing that people use this type and this type. Well, what colors did they use? So I'm like, this one and this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I was on my phone. That's why I was typing like this, not like this.
I know. Yeah.
I was explaining.
Because it was, like, late at night.
Yes.
So I went and I got it, and we ended up doing it out of the Red Heart because a lot of people did it out of Red Heart.
And they listed all of the colors they used too.
Yeah, so. It was either Red Heart or really expensive yarn.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use really expensive yarn for something that might not turn out.
Mm-hmm.
So I started it, I think it was like Christmas Eve, and then I worked on it on Christmas, and then like
because you came to my house for Christmas Eve, and you were I don't know if you brought it or you were going to bring it to
I was going to bring it, but I didn't.
Anything.
Yeah, because it was just too crazy.
Yes.
Well, it's a little bit bigger than what I think. It's like a few inches taller, maybe like 3 inches taller.
Uh-huh.
So it's huge.
You know what? You could put this in there as a stocking stuffer.
It would definitely fit. I put it on my leg and it went past my knee.
It's like an over the knee sock.
It is. But overall,
But
it
did
turned out really
the
cute.
pattern have gauge? And did you get gauge or attempt to get gauge? Or did you
It
just
had
go,
a gauge.
who cares about gauge? I'm just gonna make it.
I didn't check my gauge until afterwards. Because I was like, oh, let's just see. It's saying
Yeah.
7s, you know.
Mhm.
I know I should have gone down at least
I
one
mean, it
needle
is really
size.
cute.
I know. So I sent them a picture and they're like, oh my god, I love it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm gonna make it right. So actually, the tree will get some sequences, and there's a little bell that goes on the hat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So this was like the test knit.
yeah, I can like
If you need a really, really large stocking too, you do it
yes,
as well.
it's huge
It's like giant sized.
and surprising. It didn't take that long to do it, but holy heck, there was major ends to weave in.
Well,
I still have
that's-
some more.
It was in Tarja, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, so
I don't know what Lucy's doing down there, but she is barking her head off.
I don't know.
I hope there aren't people setting off fireworks again tonight. Because
Oh, my
yesterday
dogs
they
didn't
started at
care.
like 5 and went until 2 in the morning.
Yeah, that's about
Yeah.
how it was for us.
Actually, there were some that started going off at 2:30 in the afternoon. I'm like, why? Why are you doing fireworks? It's broad daylight outside.
I love the inside of it. Just do. But yeah, I have a whole bunch of ends to still weave in.
Yeah.
I figured,
And a whole other stocking to make.
yes, I figured that I'm going to wait to weave in these ends
Mm-hmm.
until the new Harry Potter knit and crochet house cup starts.
Oh, uh-huh.
So that way I can get detention credit for it.
Ah.
So, yay.
Yes.
That's my only finished object. Well, did I have my scarf finished last time? My Christmas scarf? Well, I finished it. I didn't.
I don't
find it.
think you did. I think that you were still working on it, trying to finish it by Christmas, and then when we went
Oh,
to knitting at
yeah.
Village Inn,
I had it finished. So yeah.
You had it. Did you have it finished then? Because I know you wore it to my
Yes,
house
I just
Christmas
had to
Eve.
weave in the
Yes.
ends. So
Yeah.
because I was working on something else, so I finished that too. I have 2 finished objects.
Well, there you
Just bring
go.
one of them.
So the last week of the year, went on a finishing kick and finished a bunch of stuff. Started and finished some stuff because I finished this, which I was working on and showed you last time, which I was on the yellow, so I didn't have that much to go because I was like midway through the yellow, I think, in our last episode. So.
Mhm.
So I finished my brioche, and it's just a scarf. I decided, I mean, I probably could sew it together and make it, because it really isn't as long as I thought it was going to be. But, whatevs. It is what it is. And the dog's coming to visit us. And that's out of the, was it Lion Brand? The mandala. And it's the wizard colorway. And then,
Yes, Lion Brand mandala.
Yes. And then I finished, out of Lion Brand mandala, I finished...
Because this episode is brought to you by Lion Brand
Apparently.
mandala.
I finished my campfire cardigan, which Sandy and I did a photo shoot before this episode outside, and it's spectacular.
Awesome photo shoot.
Yes. So anyway, I finished it. It's the small medium size with a couple rows added in the back. But anyway, with its hood and everything. So I'll put some pictures up on Instagram, and I'm sure they'll be amazing.
Oh,
So I
they
finished
will
that.
be.
It's the episode brought to you by Lion Brand, because my other product is Lion Brand Woolies. And that is a little hat that I made it's called the Copycat CC Beanie, because apparently there's this hat that is going around, and I saw it on Instagram because I was trying to find, I had 2 skeins of this. I still have a whole skein and probably like a third of a skein left of this
Mhm.
yarn. And it's gray, and I actually did a whole project in it.
Ooh.
I started it yesterday afternoon and finished it this morning because I had this much to finish this morning. And but anyway, I on Instagram, because I stalk Broadway people and stuff. One of the student I had told y'all about that was in On Your Feet on Broadway, who's now in Hamilton in Chicago. I thought, he's in Hamilton. He's from Florida. It's cold there. He needs a decent wool hat, or at least like a wool ease hat. You know, so it's mostly wool. So I was like, I need to find like a nice hat that could be like a unisex looking whatever.
Yeah.
Warm hat. And I'm going to mail it to him. Anyway, so I have been looking at patterns and I pulled off a few patterns. Then I was on Instagram the other day and someone had made a hat in this pattern. I was like, oh, you know, that would work. Because they had said in the pattern, you know, unisex, blah, blah, blah. Because it's based on some hat that she saw someone wearing in Chicago. The lady who, when she was like, let me see your hat. And then she like figured out the pattern for it because like it's some big popular, and some of them have like pom-poms on them and some of them don't or whatever. And it's some big popular whatever hat. But I did a new to me technique on it because it has one of those folded under brims.
Yeah.
And so instead of doing a provisional cast on with like a crochet thing, I did the Judy's Magic cast on over 2 needles, 2 cable, you know, 2 needles with a cable on them, circular needles. And I just left the one side and knit up from the other side. And then when it was time to join them, I just folded the other needle up and just, you know, joined them
that way,
which worked out pretty well. In fact, I think, because I've tried this hat on, and I think, and it fits very nicely. I think I might I want to go through my stash and see, because not everyone, but a lot of the projects on Ravelry are solid colors. And I was like, I think it would look pretty cool in a variegated color, especially like, because you've got the pearl and you've got it's a free pattern. You've got like knit 1, purl 1, you know, down here you've got the twisted knit 1, purl 1 or whatever. So I'm going to look, because I think I have some worsted weight. I have a couple of skeins, I'm sure, that are variegated, and I might make myself one.
I think you should.
Because it only took me last night and today. Like, it really didn't take... It only took me a couple of episodes of Doctor Who. So. So that's my finished project.
It just feels like a long time for you right
One
now.
of my finished projects. So, yes. But I thought, yeah, it's very nice.
I like
and
it.
I have enough to make another gray one, too, so maybe I'll send one up to my dad or make him one or something. I don't know.
Oh, that would be nice.
Well, since John...
Yeah.
So moving on, even though we're not doing our works in progress yet, but this just reminds me.
Well, I'm finished with my finished
Well,
stuff.
so am I. But
so then you can go on to your works in progress.
Well, this isn't a work in progress thing.
Oh.
This was a totally different thing, but it's about knitting, so I'll talk about it now. So, John, we went up to my parents up in Jacksonville, and John, it was a little bit, it wasn't like that cold, but it was like in the 50s, you know, whatever, like what it is this week here. And John pulled out the socks I had knit for him several years ago to wear when we were up there.
Really?
I know. So that he has never worn, because he tried them on once and he was like, I don't like how they fit. Even though when I was knitting them for him, he tried them on. I made like the cuff with them and I try these on. What do you think? Oh yeah, they're comfortable. And then I like did like the heel flap. I think they're a heel flap one. I don't even remember, whatever. And I was like, I did that. How does this fit? And I did, you know, because they, you know, and I did like some more of the foot. How's this fit? And then, you know, whatever. I made him try the whole process of the first sock. I made him try it on. And then like, once they're done, he's like, I don't know, they fit tighter. Well, yeah, like knit socks, because they like fit your feet better than, you know.
Yeah, then
they're more form fitting than store bought. So I guess he wasn't used to that. And so he's never worn them. I think he wore them like once. So then he pulled them out in Jacksonville and he wore them like, because he and my dad went to go see Star Wars. Yeah. And so he was like, oh, I'm going to wear these. So he wore them. And then he's showing them to my parents. Look, Kelly made these for me. Like, he doesn't wear, I don't usually knit for him because he doesn't wear stuff I knit for him. So then, of course, my dad's like, well, you know, because I said, oh, that's the first time he's ever worn them. And I knit them like 5 or 6 years ago. And my dad's like, well, you could knit me some socks. You know, I would wear them. So I guess I get to make him some socks too. But I have some yarn that's like manly colors or whatever that I was going to knit John another pair of socks with. But I think I'm going to knit them for my dad instead.
I think you should. What yarn is that?
I don't know. It's some... The one that John's are like a blue trekking. And this other one that I have, I don't know. I got it from someone a while ago.
The trekking is also really thicker, I think.
No, it's not as thick as like the Patons. The Patons is really thick. It's like it's I think it's
Oh, I was thinking that the FX stuff.
Yeah, it looks like the FX stuff, but it's not. It's thinner. And I have some that's like that, but I don't know what it is because I don't think it has a label because someone gave it to me. So.
Gee, I have no idea how that feels.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's what I'm gonna end up probably doing. And maybe I can make him a gray hat too. since I have a whole other skein. Because I was like, it was like, it calls for 200 yards. I'm like, oh, one of these skeins is like 196 yards or something, some weird number or whatever. And I have leftovers in the yard, in the skein. So I was like,
that's
I'm going to
funny.
use some stash, which I did, like 3/4 of a skein. So anyway, but works in progress.
Well, I only brought one because I have so many. And a lot of them I just put aside. And then I'm like, oh, now that I finished this and this, I can work on it. So the one I brought is my campfire cardigan that I put aside for a while. I have it all turned inside out. I have the base of it done. I'm working on
Making
the body.
it longer.
Yeah, going down longer. And it is also out of the Lion brand, Mandala?
Yes.
Out of...
I think yours is Spirit.
I think so. How do you remember these things?
I don't know.
Yeah, Spirit.
See?
Just
Mine
weird.
is out of the Centaur colorway. I didn't mention that before. Yes.
So, yeah, so it's coming along. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But
it's very pretty.
So I don't know if I told you this. Well, you know, and I think I've mentioned it here. I have gone through so many needles in the last few months. So many. And it's not just like bamboo ones, cheap ones, expensive ones. It's like a range of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just one animal. It's 2 of the dogs and 1 of the cats.
Yeah.
So, my snowflake blanket, they got the needles on that one. And they didn't just like chew on it. It was like in little pieces.
Uh-huh.
The fingerless gloves that I started for my dad, Abrams came and pulled all the yarn apart.
Okay.
And ate through the needle cable.
Where are you leaving these? Do you not put your projects away?
It was in a bag hanging up. They knocked it down for the snowflake blanket.
What type of bag? Oh, it didn't have like a zipper on it or anything.
No, it was like one of my
I'd be really
totes.
impressed if it were like a zipper bag and
They could have eaten through it.
Well, no, if they had
And
like
then,
unzipped it or something. Drawstring.
I have a little container. It's an open top container on a shelf, which apparently they pulled down, or the cat pulled down. Somebody pulled it down.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then my blanket, I went through another pair because that's in like a big cylinder type thing that I have to now, when I'm not using it, put it into like a closet. I'm having to like hide all my projects from the animals.
Mm-hmm.
It's driving me crazy. I need to like make just a shelving unit that the cats can still get up there and knock them down.
Yes.
Because they're evil.
Yes, they'll knock it down for
the dogs
to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've gone through a lot. So I've gone to like Joann's and Michael's and rebought some of like the needles and like the clover while they had like 60% off plus an extra 20. Like, let me get as much as I can get very cheap.
Yeah.
So, so I lost my project that I started for my dad. I need to redo that one.
Yeah.
What else is there? I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't.
Wow.
I need to take inventory of all my active projects.
Well, I only have one semi-active project, and it's not even really been that active. And that is a sock. Because I got all the other ones done.
I know.
So it's a sock, but I think I'm going to rip it out and do a pattern instead of just... Because I was just going to do stockinette and just mindless whatever. But I think I'm going to do a pattern of probably like a pearlless monkey or like whatever, the Juanita or something with it. I don't know. But it's Lorna's Laces. In some colorway, I can never remember. I think it's the Robot Overlord. Hold on, and I'll tell you. No, it's Zombie Barbecue. I was like, it's either Robot Overlord or Zombie Barbecue, but it's Zombie Barbecue. And I always
just remember all my colors.
I know. Well, I knew it was one of the 2 colors, and really, if I looked up at the monster back there that's sitting next to the TARDIS, that's out of Robot Overlord, and I could have been like, oh, because I do have sock weight in Robot Overlord as well. But anyway, so it's not that I don't know. It just is not holding my interest. Not that it, I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
I mean, it's making nice little stripes, but I don't know. I think it needs something else, some pizzazz.
You just rip it down to the toe,
Yeah.
and then so you don't have to do everything over.
Yep. So that's my only like work in progress. Although I was spinning on my spinning wheel yesterday briefly, because I decided to for some reason I thought, well, you know, I've spun on it double drive forever. And I was like, and when I first got it, I didn't do double drive. I did whatever the single drive. I don't know if it's Scotch or Irish tension, whatever. It's an Ashford Traveler and whatever with a little brake band. And I couldn't get the hang of it when I first started with my spinning wheel with that because it was taking in too fast for me and whatever. And so I was like, well, I've been spinning off and on for a couple of years on it with the double drive. Let me see if I can try it out again with the single drive. So I have some, actually I'd started it on a spindle and I was like, that's just going to take too long. So I did like one of the strips on the single drive to test it out. So.
And how'd you like it?
It's okay. Like it's going to take a little getting used to, but you know.
One of my projects that I've been not doing anything with is, I don't even remember what that fiber is. It's been sitting on my Lazy Kate. I have, I think, one bobbin left to ply. And I was just having a hard time plying it on the wheel because it was going from, I want to say, like wheel spun to spindle spun. And it just wasn't wanting to work together. So I was just doing it all on the spindle and just been sitting in the closet away from the animals, thankfully.
Well, I yesterday because I had finished the sweater the other day. I finished that I think on what's today, Monday? I think I finished that on Saturday. Yes, I finished that on Saturday, and I'd already finished the scarf. But I started the hat and then I needed a little break from the hat. So I was like, I'm just going to attempt this on the spinning wheel. So I did that and then finished the hat this morning and then woven the ends on the scarf because the scarf was all knit. It just needed ends woven in. And since I was weaving in ends on the hat anyway, I was like, I might as well get it all done at once.
Yeah.
Because we were watching Doctor Who and I needed something to occupy myself. Because it's the most recent season because like, this is going on to our other stuff we're watching and whatever. So... Her DVR was like at 59% full. And so I was like, we need to watch some stuff. And so yesterday, well, backing up, on Christmas Day, we watched the Doctor Who, the Christmas special, even though I hadn't watched the whole previous season because I wanted to see the Doctor regenerate into the Lady Doctor. And so we watched that on Christmas Day. And then... because I was like, you know, we could sit there and try it, you know, and it would sit in our DVR for another like 7 months or something.
Yeah.
So I thought, no, we'll just watch this one and then we'll go back. And so when we went back to watch, we had to watch 2 Christmas episodes plus a whole season. So we watched like Christmas 2015 followed by Christmas 2016 in like one go. And then
it was a very Dr. Christmas.
Yeah, and well, I don't even, maybe, no, we watched those before the new Christmas episode. So we saw 3 Christmas episodes of Doctor Who, like not in a row, but like within like 2 or 3 days. Like we watched like 3 Christmas episodes worth of Doctor Who. And then, because I've mentioned this before, I did not really care for the 12th Doctor, so, and I didn't like care for him with Clara, and so now it's like, and there's a whole other season of 12 episodes to watch with him, and blah. And so I was like all gung-ho for him to regenerate, so I was like, let's watch this episode. So we did. So now we're going back to watch the episodes with Bill. So we, as of today, have made it through the first 5, and we started them yesterday. So we watched like 2 last night, and then we went upstairs and like watched the ball drop on the TV upstairs. And then today we sat down and like watched 3 more. So we only have 7 to go. And then we're all caught up. And I was like, but we have until October since the new season starts in October, but we just need to get it done. We'll probably watch another one tonight so we can get it done. If we watch like 1 every night, instead, because there's like really nothing new coming on the television the next week, because like all the shows come back like the week after or whatever. And I'm home this week because like because the way Christmas and New Year's fell, we have like this whole week off from work. Plus I took next Monday off. But so technically I could sit down and do it, but then it would sit in the DVR forever waiting for John to watch it. So it's like, no. So what we need to do is, since like nothing new is coming on TV this week, we need to sit down and just be like, all right, after dinner, we're watching an episode every night. And then we could just get it done in a week. Yep. That's
I
the
already
plan.
finished all those episodes.
Like, I know, like a year ago or
So-
whatever. I know.
Just saying.
Whatever.
But I couldn't watch the Christmas episode right when it happened. We had a gnat right there.
Oh.
I didn't know what it was. It's dead now.
Yes.
So I ended up going on to the BBC America app
Uh-huh.
this weekend and watching it.
And watching it.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know. It was sometime this weekend.
Well, we, on Christmas Day, we went and we saw the new Star Wars movie.
And so John watched it twice?
He saw it twice within like 3 or 4 days.
Huh.
Yes. Because we saw it on Christmas, because we had already bought our tickets, a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago or whatever. And I was like, this is what we're doing on Christmas. Because the past, I don't know how many years we've gone to a movie on Christmas. It's like a new tradition. Probably the past 3 or 4 years we've gone.
Oh, yeah.
So, and apparently I was looking at my Facebook today and it's New Year's Day. And apparently the past 2 years we've gone to the movies on New Year's Day, but we didn't go this year. So I know.
I broke that.
I know. So, anyway, so we saw Star Wars and it was good, but it was really long. Like it was the longest Star Wars movie ever, but with previews, it was 2 hours and 55 minutes in the movie theater.
Mhm.
Like in the movie, I had to like get up and go to the bathroom because the movie theater was kind of cold too. So John had to get up and go to the bathroom too. So then when we were talking to my parents later on Christmas, like in the afternoon or whatever, and I told my dad, I was like, yeah, we saw Star Wars this morning. And he's like, but I have no one to go see it with me and I don't want to go see it by myself and all this other stuff. And I said, well, maybe when we're visiting you, maybe John wants to see it again. Maybe John will go see it again.
Yeah.
So that's what they did. So he saw it like on Thursday. So we saw it like on Monday and then he saw it again on Thursday. But the second time he like didn't miss any of it.
Yeah, he had time to process everything. So he
Well-
can see all the little small things.
No, he didn't miss anything because he didn't have to go to the bathroom in the middle
Oh.
of it.
Well, yeah, I guess that too.
But yeah, so it was long. I mean, yeah. There was a lot in there that was like, okay, we could just like bypass this and get onto the action. But
So I take it you weren't on the bandwagon with that was the best movie ever?
no. I mean, it was good. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say. I mean, it was better than the prequels that they did several years ago. I mean, like, yeah. And the movie that came out like 2 years ago was good too. I mean, and it was about that caliber. It just felt like it was a really long movie.
That's how I feel about all of them. They're very long. But-
Well, this one also they said like lengthwise was the longest of all the Star Wars movies that they've made, like time wise. And even like the previews for movies that we got beforehand, I'm like we were just sitting watching TV earlier, and they had on the news they were like these are the movies coming out in 2018, and I got very excited about several of them.
Mhm.
But like the previews before Star Wars, I was like, oh, I don't really want to see any of these. I mean, they showed like the Jurassic World 2 preview, which I had
Yeah.
already seen. And they showed the Ready Player One preview, which I was like, okay, well, that looks pretty good because I've read the book. But all the rest of the previews, I can't even remember what they were. I know one of them was A Wrinkle in Time, which I didn't really like that book anyway. But the rest of the movie, I was like, there's nothing. But then, that I really want to see. And then when they did this thing on the news, I was like, oh, look, there's a whole bunch of movies. But none of those were previews from what we saw before Star Wars. So I don't know. Sat through like 30 minutes of previews of.
So I've noticed I've been having an issue with my Netflix.
Oh.
I don't know if this has happened to you, but when I was binge watching The Ranch,
Okay.
I
started watching that and I couldn't get into it. I
Really?
watched maybe like 3 episodes and I was like removed from my list because
Oh.
I'm not getting into this.
like it.
So
But so
because you had said something, I was like, oh, maybe.
Yeah,
you were like,
and
oh, I'm
Mark
liking
likes
this. I was
it.
like, oh, maybe
I
I'll
know a
watch
lot
this.
of people that like it, except for you.
Mhm.
Maybe it's because it has all the cows in it.
I don't know. I didn't even see any
Yeah.
cows in the episodes I watched. I didn't like
No, you only see like 1 or 2 cows.
it.
Which is funny because it's on a ranch.
Yeah.
So, but it's very sitcom-ish. But So I was watching it from.
Took me a few seconds to process what you just said, because the way you like emphasized that was really weird. You're like sitcomish, and I was like, sick Amish? What? There weren't Amish people in the show. And then I was like, oh, sitcomish. Okay,
Sitcomish.
I was like,
Sitcom-ish.
yes, sitcom-ish, not sitcom-ish. When you really, it was very sitcomish or sitcomish, and I was like,
Oh,
in case you're wondering what that look on my face was, me going, what did she just say? But anyway, so the ranch. So your
Yeah,
Netflix.
so I was watching it, and then I got to the end. I'm like, wow, that went by really quickly. I got it all done in like 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh's friend came over who, like binge watched the whole thing recently. And so we were talking about it. He's like, oh, did you see this part? I'm like, what? No. He's like, what about this? I'm like, no. And apparently it like Netflix would like do the first one and then like skip 2 episodes and then the
Oh.
third one and I'll watch the 4th and it skipped 5th and he's like, oh, did you see when he proposed? I'm like, well, hold on. I assume, like, I thought that was going to happen last season, so I just assumed that because I didn't rewatch it. And so I had already gone, since I finished The Ranch, had already gone to watch the next new thing that was the Netflix original, The Crown, which I love.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think that's
So-
in my list to watch, but I just haven't started it yet.
Yeah, so, I mean, when I started that one, it actually started me, like, middle of season 1.
Oh, huh.
And I
That's
had
weird.
watched all of season 1. It showed that it was watched.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah,
Hmm.
it was... Netflix is just not being nice.
I haven't really watched anything on Netflix recently, because I'm still working on Will and Grace, but I finished season 3. So
Mhm.
I think, did I finish season 3 or 4? I don't remember. But anyway, I
I
finished
don't
a
know.
season. And so I haven't started the next season because then I started watching on Amazon Prime, watching The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and I have like 2.5 episodes left of that. So, and I'm really enjoying that. That's written by the person who did Gilmore Girls, but it's about, you would probably like it, but I don't know if you have a way to watch it. But anyway, it's about like the late 50s, which is
Mhm.
why you would like it, because it's like the late 50s.
Yeah.
But it's a lady, and she's married and has 2 kids, and her husband leaves her, and she pursues a career as a stand-up comic, like a stand-up comedian in the
Mhm.
late 50s. So I'm enjoying it, and I think there's only 8 episodes of season 1. But that's what I've been watching lately, aside from all the Doctor Who, trying to get caught up.
I went through a lot of audiobooks this last 2 weeks.
Oh.
Well, I finished, what is it? Oh, it's in a series. It's one of the Shadowhunter series. I want to say it was the City of Fallen Angels or the Lost Souls. Whichever
don't
one
know.
was the last one. I know you don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. But I do need to catch up on the shows of that one because I'm behind.
Oh.
And one of my nieces likes it. So, I did that. Then I started listening to the Ugly series. Do you know
Okay.
that one?
No.
It's where in a future society they go they go and they determine that all war and everything bad is because some people are ugly. And so when people turn 16, they get the pretty operation. And so they all become beautiful
Uh-huh.
and then go to Pretty Town or New Pretty Town where they just like party in that. And then they, when they get to a certain age and they get, their jobs and everything and then get their like mid-pretty, surgery and then, and it's like going through that and this girl
Uh-huh.
who's like so excited to become a pretty and her friends are all gone and so she's all left alone. She finds a new person who doesn't want to be a pretty and she's like, I've never heard of that. There's nothing outside of the city. So, yeah. And I got to part 3 of the book
Mhm.
and my audiobook like everything's messing
I was
up
gonna
on
say
me.
you and like technology
know.
or something. You're having
Like
issues.
it said that my audiobook is like at the end of the audiobook, but it's still playing. But when I pause it, it takes me like to the very beginning of the book.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I have to look into it. So I stopped that and I went to the Dwellers series,
Okay.
where in the future,
In the dystopian future.
yes, the world is pretty much like degraded. I don't know exactly what happened, but they created a subterranean living era or area, and it's like the sun realm, the moon realm, and then the star realm. So people who's in the sun realm are like the wealthy, closer to the sun. The star realm is closer to the center of the earth, and they're like the poor peasants. And they started with, we still have a constitution and everything because it's in the U.S.
Okay.
We don't know what happens to the rest of the world.
Okay.
And then the president decided, I like being president. We're going to just have it go out for another term. Oh, let's just go for another term. Let's just have it indefinitely and have it go down through, my genetic line. But I'm still a president. We're not a monarchy. So it's going into that. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm reading 2 books right now that I didn't bring one of them downstairs, but it's called The Sparrow Sisters. I'm looking it up on my phone. And it's by Ellen Herrick, and it was like for fans of practical magic. So it's about like 3 sisters. They're in New England. There's this doctor that comes to town. One of the sisters is like a healer and all this and whatever. And then the other book I started on my trip, which I didn't read that much because I was busy watching Amazon on my Prime on my iPad as we were journeying. But I started reading Frog Kisser by Garth Nix. And that one's like one of those like fairy tale type of things, but there's like 2 sisters, and there's an evil stepfather. And they've got a stepfather and a stepmother in this book because like the mother died. The mother was married to the father, and the mother died, and he married someone, and then the father died, and then she married whatever.
Wow.
So, yeah, and there's frogs and kissing. So, yeah. Like I said, I haven't gotten very far in it. I'm in like chapter 4. But anyway, there's these dogs that are the royal dogs that can talk and stuff. That are characters too.
Do the frogs talk?
Well, the frogs, like the one frog kind of did because like he was a prince that was turned into a frog. So
I don't know.
It's kind of like the Princess and the Frog, but
well, I kind of assume that, but
anyway. So yeah, so that's what I've been reading.
Oh, I watched Guardians of the Galaxy. I finally finished it today.
First one?
The second one.
I haven't seen the second one, but I didn't like the first one. The first one was really long. Like the first one, we watched it, we rented it, and I like superhero movies and stuff, but I was like falling asleep on my couch on the first one, so I haven't like even tried to watch the second one.
I like the first one.
So.
Oh well. Yeah.
But in New York City right now, they are filming season 3 of Daredevil, and of course, in a couple weeks, the drama troupe from the school I used to work at is going up there, and I was like, why couldn't I have gone this year instead of last year? Because I could run around looking for Charlie Cox sightings throughout my whole trip.
Can I chaperone you guys?
I know. I was like, do you have someone who dropped out that you're not going to make me pay for this expensive trip? Because I don't have the money to go on it this year. So they're seeing a couple of shows I wouldn't mind seeing, but nope, I'm not going. So it'll be okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah. Well, so, I think that's it for me.
That's it for me.
Yep.
So we have social media.
We do have social media. And I posted my really big stocking on my social media.
You did. So you posted it on your Instagram, which is
Knits and Bits.
And my Instagram is PearlyGirl75, and I'll be posting probably some pictures of the
cardigan.
Yes.
Some of the awesome photos I took.
Yes. She took videos too, thinking she was taking pictures. So.
Well, the first video was like, I knew it was video, and I thought I swiped over to photo. And it's like, boo boo, boo boo. Yeah. Lots of like 1 second videos.
So, yeah. Anyway, we also are on YouTube as Two Crafty Stitches, and the crafty is with a K. And we have a blog. I was trying to say a WordPress and a blog at the same time, and it was coming out as like
a word blog.
A blurred press. Which is twocraftystitches.wordpress.com, and we also have Two Crafty Stitches on Twitter.
So I think that is everything.
I think so.
Well, happy crafting, everybody, and Happy New Year.
Bye.